See this 4-step video on everything you need to know before you begin painting on your project. Go and wipe down your piece just to know that even if this brand new piece has been in a building yard or been at Lowe's or Menards or wherever it was purchased from, it still has all kinds of buildup on it. And you can see that right here. This is brand new. You can see how much junk is on that already. So if you were to paint over that, that's going to be debris that's in your paint. The true applicator, and how I'm just going to turn this right up onto the actual jar itself. Once I have that loaded, I'll take that right to the project.
Is here, so I want you to see how quickly we're going to make fast tracks on this thing. Doesn't take long.
Going to be for my technique called brush and roll. So using the paint, I'm going to show you first off how to properly load your brush, just like I did with the small brush earlier. You're going to put the paint onto the brush, and you're only going to go down that far. See that from the side? You're only going to go down about 1/3 of the way of the bristle, so you don't want to go any further than that. And you're going to softly offload the paint. You're not going to apply any pressure. You're just going to softly offload so you're not dripping to your project. The next thing you want to do is start brushing on the paint. Now, you're going to make a couple of swipes. Already, when I do that, I feel the paint starting to drag, meaning it doesn't want to be thinned out any further. When you start feeling that pushback on the brush, that means apply more paint. You can feel it instantly in the way the paint starts to feel in your hand. You may not know that in the beginning as a painter, but once you start to feel that tension happening, that means put on more paint. You don't continue to thin and thin and thin. We want to add more paint. So we're going to put on a few swipes here, and then we're going to go through with the rollers. This dry tool has tiny little little holes in it. If you can see those tiny little holes, they're there for a reason. They're there to softly move the paint around. Now, that's going to create a small bit of texture, but that is going to level out if you do this while the paint is wet. So once you roll through that, you're going to diminish any lines that you've created using the brush and softly make this turn into a smooth coating, and then you're going to stop. You're going to allow that to dry and stop at that finish right there. Even over this porous wood that was a non-finished piece, you're going to get a great coating. Once that dries, it's going to look a velvety, soft, low luster sheen. It's not going to be glossy. It's going to be a low luster sheen. So I'm going to keep going and keep repeating that process on to the next drawer. There's some grain here. This is an oak cabinet, so you're going to see a small amount of grain. Painting will diminish the grain. It won't always remove the grain, obviously, but it will diminish. So I'm going to put on a brushed on coat there. See some debris there. Let me knock that out. And then lightly roll through that. Very, very soft pressure, no pushing. Again, using the dry roller. The most important thing that I want to stress over and over is applying enough paint. When you feel that drag happening in the brush, you need to dip again. Just applying enough paint, not that it's running off the cabinet, but just enough paint for allowing the paint to have enough to cover the surface. I hope that's been some information for you and given you some great food for thought and some tips on how to get started painting literally anything. And I hope I have made some painters out of some of you out there tonight. And